October 12, 1944. A squadron of red-tailed P-51 Mustangs of the 332nd Fighter Group soar over Lake Balaton in southern Hungary. After completing an escort mission, they're returning to base in Italy. Among them is Captain Wendell Pruitt and his wingman, Lieutenant Lee Archer, the gruesome twosome, as they are known. As they reach the southern tip of the lake, tiny specks appear on the horizon, a swarm of German Me-109s.
There were more German airplanes in the air than I've ever seen before. Kind of made a little side decision, well, this might be it.
Pruitt, Archer, and the rest of the Red Tails don't flinch.
We didn't run or anything like that. We said, okay, they're up here. There's as many of them as it is of us. So we'll take them on.
Throttles firewall, machine guns armed, the Tuskegee Airmen rip through the German formation. The skies above Lake Balaton explode with the roar of piston engines and the staccato burst of machine guns and cannon. With the battle raging all around them, Pruitt and Archer select a target. They'll make a head-on pass with a German 109 just off their nose. The gruesome twosome streak past the enemy. Archer drops in trail of Pruitt as they roll left in pursuit.
He'd pull ahead and I'd pull right behind him and try to stay on him. He was a heck of a pilot, and just staying there sometime was a full-time job.
Pruitt's tight turn takes the German by surprise. The P-51's 450 cals open up. The pilot leaps from the smoking plane. But just as they pull away from their first victory, another 109 roars in from 3 o'clock high.
He pulled in to take a side shot at Pruitt. And Pruitt slowed down. I guess he chopped throttle or something. I know I did.
Pruitt's quick reaction saves him from certain death. Reducing his speed causes the 109 to overshoot to the side. With careful maneuvering, he can flush the 109 out in front of him. Archer lets his lead do the work. Pruitt manages to force the 109 out. But suddenly, another German bursts into the fight.
And the other one came in to get on Pruitt's tail, not realizing that my only job at that time was to protect Pruitt's tail. So it's the Me-109, there's Pruitt shooting at him, there's the Me-109 shooting at Pruitt, and there's me shooting at him.
Archer expertly leads his mark and fires. The 109 tumbles, smoke belching from the wounded plane. Seconds later, Pruitt fires a long burst into his 109. Another victory for the gruesome twosome. But they're not done yet. They dive back into the furball.
He made a screaming turn back to where all the other aircraft was. And I really wasn't sure that was a great idea at the time.
Pruitt instantly spots a target amidst the chaos. Another 109 is positioned just off his nose.
As we got into the other airplanes, another one picked him up, and he made a head-on pass on him with me peppering behind him.
Pruitt and Archer roar past the German, guns blazing. Archer follows Pruitt through another crushing left turn.
I guess I was lagging a little bit. Another one came right in behind him. They were suckers. They didn't see the second airplane 1,000 yards behind, armed to the teeth.
Again, Archer's 50 cal spark to life. Archer speeds past the wreckage. He's now one victory away from making ace, with plenty of targets to choose from.
At that time, there were so many airplanes in the air that I say somehow I lost Wendell O. Pruitt, but it's not true. I saw an aircraft that I could take on, who was coming my way.
Archer is here. The 109 is here. Archer can easily initiate a head-on pass by banking to the right. In an instant, the adversaries merge. They break into each other and begin circling. Whoever pulls tighter will win the contest. The 109 inches closer to firing position. The German's heavy cannon is poised to unleash lethal retribution on Lee Archer. The American has seconds to react. Suddenly, he spots a second 109.
I look out to the right, and I see this guy all by himself, a pigeon, and he was flying straight and level.
Archer brakes instinctively.
Since then, a lot of people say, well, when you turned on this second aircraft, what about the guy behind you? I forgot all about him. I think that's how I got my left wing hit. And it must have been a cannon shot because it had a hole in the wing, huge, under the bottom.
Archer latches onto his target. The German counters by pitching over into a steep dive. He's headed for the safety of an airbase. But the maneuver fails. The determined Mustang pilot will not be denied his 5th victory. Lee Archer opens the throttle and pulls away. He's bested the German, but he's broken formation with his flight lead, Wendell Pruitt, strictly forbidden for a wingman.
I guess the only thing was my mind, how do I explain to Pruitt how this happened?
Now alone and low on ammo, he heads back to base. Archer's 3 victories on October 12th bring his war total to 5. It is an historic achievement made by a skilled and aggressive fighter pilot. The Tuskegee Airmen now have an ace.